Welcome, kings and queens, to another episode of Unapologetic, your number one podcast. This is the show where kings and queens tell their legacies and on. So get ready for the gems to drop and pull up to the table because we're ready.
That's systemic barriers. That is status quo. That is all of those institutions that have done great work in our community, and we partner with them and we have a relationship, but we also know what has gone wrong, that we're not operating autonomously in philanthropy as people of color. So that's how we were birthed, because I said we have to change that narrative. We have to change the narrative that philanthropy is only the money that you can give, or the willingness to be able to sit on a board for no pay and things like that. There's a very colonized view of philanthropy, and it doesn't take in all of the cultural ways that we support in philanthropy. And I have to educate my own people because we've been so indoctrinized into what we see.
Man, you teaching me something today. I gotta get some more. I need to woo.
No, because I have to tell my people, this is philanthropy. When your mom taking all these after school kids in because everybody parents not home, that's philanthropy.
Okay.
When you guys are taking food and putting stuff together when people pass and things like that, that's philanthropy. The carpools and stuff that people are doing to make sure so-and-so could get to work, like those are all philanthropic endeavors that are making our community better, because philanthropy at its heart is love of community. You can't tell me another community that has more love community. Our African proverbs is it takes a village, right? And we've been so disconnected from our history, our communal relationship with how we treat one another here in America, that we're losing those pieces, and we have to put them back together for ourselves. And a big part of that is philanthropy and how we support one another, and how it's not always a dollar being exchanged. It's an action because of our love for humanity, for one another.
I wish everybody thought the way you thought, because this world be a better place right now. For real. Because it's all about a dollar. It's all about what's the shiny chain, the fastest, prettiest car, which I'm not saying those are not a good accomplishments once you hit that pinnacle, that level, but that's the only focus.
Yeah.
They forgot about the humane part of the situation.
Yeah, we're really trying to change that narrative. We have to give back. And one of the things that we do, we have a campaign called The Power of Our Dollar, where we're asking just the Black community to look closely at the Black dollar. Is the most sought after dollar in the nation right now. Most of the dollars for marketing and communication and things like that go into our community to try and attract our kids, our adults, etc. We're indoctrinated through the media to learn that things are how you value yourself. All of those are intentional systems of oppression, right? Because there's no commercial teaching you to be an entrepreneur, but there is a commercial telling you that you're worthy once you have this Bentley, right? So, so we have to change the way that we view success, and we have to change the view of Black people are only recipients of dollars. No, we are movers and shakers, and we can collect dollars and push them back out into our community autonomously through the AQUME Foundation. And we're so excited to do that. We're excited to re-educate on people on how they think about money. Why is it that a man who has a nice sized bank account is seen as less than compared to the man who has the newest fit Jordans for everything, right? Like why do we value those two men differently? Because one has the values that's going to push our community forward. The other is showing the values of what's keeping us behind. We are so quick to turn around and put our social capital behind the next brand and making the next person rich instead of investing in our own people, because we are the harshest critics of our own people because of how we have been colonized in this country. But I'm stopped because I could go forever on that one.
Hey, I was about to. You saw y'all saw me. I saw y'all doing it too. That's whoo. I see why you're in the position that you're in right now. Each business that you have acquired literally helps try to build off of each problem in our community.
This
Like
is
you're
true.
literally dissecting this and expanding it over different entities.
This is so true. And I had to think about my passions because, like, AQUME Properties, really quickly, that is the company where I'm trying to get duplexes, and I have a couple in there, but really intentionally saying we're trying to prevent gentrification and people being moved out of their homes. So I buy these properties, keep these tenants in there, keep it affordable as everything is going crazy around them, and people are able to maintain their place of living and where they've grown up. And that's so important to me. And we're housing these families of color and making sure that they aren't displaced. Because I remember how many times we had to move around when I was growing up. So it was just
Yep.
a personal value of mine. But yes, to your point, everything has a justice lens for what we're trying to do.
Man, that's what's up. And what was the name of that company?
Uh,
Your
AQUME Properties. So
Acme
it's
Acme
yeah,
Properties.
just the LLC, occasionally
Yeah,
throw a
hey, she
duplex
trying to
in.
just dial it down. Girl, stop.
It's-
Y'all hear it. This is great. Have you ever thought about opening up an internship for mentors or for to be a mentor?
It's crazy that I am being asked to be a mentor at this point in my life because I've always felt like I've needed a mentor. And now people are asking me, or my existing mentor is trying to push me off. I'm like, no, I need you.
Yeah, right.
So it's crazy. But to answer your question, am I doing mentorship specifically? I try and make every interaction I have with someone something positive, but I haven't necessarily pulled anyone up. I think through AQUME Consulting, I try and pull those principles of education and support. We do
Mm,
a lot for Black leaders of color. We do a lot for executives and some of these bigger mainstream organizations that are trying to do better with
yeah,
their equity journey. And that's kind of where I can see like those personal touches. And that's where I try and build my relationships through the consulting, to your point, very targeted. How you trying to move equity forward? How
I
you trying to
see
move justice forward?
laser sight, y'all. She got lasers.
So,
I like it.
people
Yeah,
along the way on that journey, but it's
yeah,
not just, I just have a bunch of random mentees or anything. And I operate virtually as well, just to keep costs down. So
right.
those things.
See, you're very strategic. You're gonna adopt me as your I'm your mentee now. I'm just
Okay.
letting you know right now. I already took the position.
Okay.
Uh, that's a great thing that you're. I'm just I'm being unapologetic, y'all today. Just attacking the negatives within the Black community, and most people that create business businesses only look at the bag. They want the money. And of course, that is a part of having a business. You want to build generational wealth.
100%.
But I feel like that foreshadows the passion, which brings in that money. Remember, most people tend, I think a lot of times, a lot of businesses that I'm starting to notice, and I'm still learning myself, being a business
Mhm.
owner, certain clients just come to me like with this mind frame of, all right, man, I need to market myself better and advertise so I can get this money. Okay, like I feel you on that, but what is your passion about marketing
Mhm.
and advertising? Like we got to have some type of base here because money is all comes from all different from every corner of the world. You get money for washing clothes, taking out trash. I mean, you get money for everything. So how can you pinpoint that? And you're with what you have done, you have literally drew a blueprint on how to build your community piece by piece. Even though I don't think people can do it all how you're doing it, just a one woman army. But if we come together, we can actually produce bigger results. You know what I'm saying? So
100%.
I feel
100%.
like that's what you're showing. You're already mentoring people, but you're not there in their face. You're showing them how you're mentoring. All right,
I
that's
try.
how I'm picking up.
I try. I definitely try. And you use the word generational wealth. And I feel like that's such an important term. It's something that is thrown around so much today. And I feel like it's almost becoming a buzzword, and that breaks my heart Because when we think about it, what's the definition behind it? What's the blueprint, as you just said?
Right.
And yes, these businesses need to make money, but we can't live by the Drake Wears Bras when I die, put my money in the grave. That's not building generational wealth, right? Generational wealth
Yeah.
means you passing it on to the next thing, to the next generation. So for me, I know everything I'm building today. That's why it's AQUME Law, not Ciarra Adkins. I reincorporated my law firm when I grew personally. So it was originally Law Office of Ciarra Adkins. I changed that because it needs to be beyond me. There needs to be another Black woman or Black man who comes and takes over and keeps this law firm going.
Right.
And the same thing for philanthropy and all of that. This is not a family name foundation type deal. We want this to be the Black community thing. And I know everything I'm building is not even for me. I'm not even going to be able to really benefit from the fruits of what I'm putting together, right? I'm not trying to spend every single dollar I make. I want it to be a foundation for the next generation. So maybe they don't have to work through college because Grandma Ciarra had enough money in a trust waiting on me for me to
For
have it just a
real.
little bit easier, right?
Yes. Yes.
And
That's
I think our people, we're missing that piece. When you can't say generational wealth, but then be the height of consumerism.
thank you. Thank you. That yeah. Yeah, you absolutely right. You absolutely right. But people don't see it that way because of the world that we live in now, and how, like how you said earlier, everything is in our face. All the advertisement, everything, to video games, to clothes, to music, drug, everything. So it's overloading the system, I feel like. And what the system does is just crash. And after it crashes, if the same thing is still running in the system, it takes over the system. So and I know I put it simple, y'all, and it ain't that simple, but that's how I've been, looking at it in a different view, since I became a better me, since I became this business owner and whatnot. And I see you broke it down so well for me because I couldn't even put it in words. But with you, I like that, with certain parties, because I think you threw a gala. What is it? The gala?
The Gold Gala, yes, that
Gala.
was our inaugural gala for the AQUME Foundation.
So that was dope.
Thank you.
That was cool. Like the whole setting, the whole, like the color, the gold, the ambiance. Like I'm using words I don't usually use.
No, I love it. I love it.
The
That was the
ambiance
point.
was
That was
was
the
was
whole
great.
point.
And uh you can tell that sometimes a lot of man hours went into that. Because when I was watching it, what I did see, I always try to see the transitioning of events. You know what I'm saying? Because you've been to plenty of them where you're sitting there and you're like, well, we're gonna have a 20-minute delay because we have, which it happens. You can't stop whatever's gonna happen. But the whole flow of it was just smooth. It was like just one thing, fed the other. And for me, it showed, for us, that was a big win for us, because it showed what we are capable of doing once you give us the ability to.
You know, 100%. I love that you brought that up because you know what? I had conversations with people who they were not about our gala. We had a lot of support for our gala. You saw our sponsorship list. We were
Oh
able to
man, it was taller than me. I said, dang.
I expended a lot of social capital. That was our first gala. And it was so intentional to me to be in 49507. Why not support 1530 and have our gala
Right.
there? Why not have valet service? Why not make it formal attire? So all the boys and girls in that neighborhood could see people who look like them dressed in their best for business and philanthropy and giving back to their community. We're not talking about the party in the hood or nothing like that. We're talking about straight up
Right.
every dollar is coming back into the community and they get to see that and it's coming from them. And I knew that it had to go off without a hitch. I knew that there was no room for error. I knew that there were so many eyes watching that. And the second tagline for AQUME Foundation, aside from philanthropy looks like me, is operating excellence. My staff knows this, my vendors know this. So if you're not trying to operate in excellence, then don't even sign your name on the dotted line because that is a standard I'm holding you to. Average is not good enough. People have to walk away better. And we had some really good vendors who supported our event. And, you know, the little things that went wrong, nobody was able to see. But to your point, it had to be seamless. We had to have our speakers. Yep. We wanted it to be a good experience for us to say, this is our first foray as an autonomous foundation in the community. Look at what we are able to do. Look at what we could have probably done had we started 200 years ago or however many years, you know, we've had missed opportunity in this space. So that was a big win. I'm so proud of it. We're planning the second one right now. We're going to be at 1530 again. And we're going to be so intentional to keep bringing this opulent event into our inner city areas.
I'm coming. I already got my suit ready.
I love it. But you know, we had vendors who didn't want to work with us. We had vendors who didn't want to work with us simply because of where we were located. And I was like, okay, you know what? That's fine.
Wow.
Yeah, we did. It was tough. It was tight. And it was also very important to me to try and get as many vendors of color. So when we looked at that tab at the end, I said, if at least 80% of this didn't go to vendors of color, then we failed. And, you know, we were able to make that and meet that. But I feel like the more leverage and power that we have, the better we can position our people. Because for us, from the invites to the printouts to the balloons to where we got napkins, tablecloths, like everything, we were so intentional to, is there a BIPOC business we could lift up along the way with this? And for a couple of our vendors, it was a first time deal.
Really?
Some of our people,
that's a breakthrough for them. That's a breakthrough.
And then some of our vendors were very well established, but we were excited, and it's a good opportunity. So we have a whole procurement policy. That's what we call it, right?
Okay.
When you're intentional about where your dollars are going and how you spend for your budget. So my organizational budget and my staff, they have to follow the procurement policy. And I'm like, just because it's last minute don't mean you can go to Office Depot. You were supposed to go to Kalamazoo and hit up RJ Training. So you know what? We're not going to be at this event and holding them accountable to that.
Right. I like boss lady. That's the boss lady right there. That's straight boss lady right there. That's like, yes, boss lady. That's all you say. I'll get it going.
No,
but you have to be like that if in order to I feel like to be up there with the competitor, with your competitors, because the next person is going to probably going to have that same drive more than you. You know, and competition is great. I'm a competitive person, and I'm not gonna lie. Like, me and my friends, we each have our own business, and we each have like a competitive part of us. Our business don't relate, but we push each other to be like, all right, man, I bet you're gonna get 2 contracts this week. All right, I get 3.
Love it.
I'm gonna get 3 just because you said that. And so that is an uplift that you're doing at the gala, because you're opening that business realm to them, to the first timers, to whoever comes, and says like, okay, this is your time to shine. So shine. I mean, shine like you never shined before. Pass out those business cards. Greet everybody. If you get busy, don't get frustrated. Smile. You should smile when you busy. That means that people are paying attention to you. And those little key points benefit that that person, whether they're young or old, benefits that person and gives them that encouragement, because that would encourage me like wholeheartedly. If I had the opportunity to do media at look, I'm putting it, look, you see I'm putting it in existence, y'all. Do media at your gala, hint hint. I'll be 100% into it. 100%. I'm smiling behind the camera like I'm on camera.
And I appreciate that. And I always ask my people, be innovative. And even though this was our gala where we were asking people for money for us, I told our vendors to shine. I said, bring your signage, bring your business cards and stuff, make your presence known. Some of our vendors said, I just want to operate in the background, word of mouth is fine. But for some of the other vendors, they took that opportunity, and I wanted it to be presented to them. This wasn't a closed contract deal. You want to know where we got these photos from? Right there. You want to know?
Oh, really? So you gave that information?
Yeah, we did have information available for people. So my IT person, they had their whole company directed. They had their whole company out. They had the little, what do you call those big signs that go from the floor to
Oh
the,
yeah.
I don't know why we're but like that out, they had their business cards and their flyers and stuff. And I expected that because yes, you're here under AQUME Foundation, but you need to get this back for yourself, sir. And he was able to generate some contracts and stuff.
That's what's up.
Because they saw his work, and that's what we're about. And he got to do his brand. It doesn't have to say AQUME Foundation all around this room. We know why we're here, but we want to lift up all our other vendors.
Right. The platform that they're standing on is that's the foundation. That's the AQUME Foundation. Man, girl,
I'm so proud of that. If you can't tell, like,
hey, look, I'm proud that you proud because I'm proud of you. Like, I'm mad that